Welcome back to the LCS Lock-In Tournament. Well, we're just a few minutes away from our next game of the day. It's Immortals, it's Dignitas, both looking for their first win here in the tournament. So we're going to go fast so that we can get ourselves into this game as quickly as possible. We've talked a lot about bot lanes, and I kind of want to talk about the bot lanes across these teams for a brief moment. Neo, Biofrost, interesting duo. I don't think one I would have expected to necessarily see come together, but it's the return of an old veteran face in Biofrost. Up next to, Neo, a younger face, been around, has some experience, but to some degree still doesn't feel like he's hit his stride as a professional.
Yeah, and I think Neo got overshadowed last year because in the hunt for Rookie of the Year, I mean, his spring split was phenomenal. It was the summer split that was problematic, and I mean, Dignitas as a team had a lot of problems in summer split, so maybe a little bit of that can change. So it's a good reignition for Neo because I expect him to be the focus point for the team. For the rest of the split, you want to play around a person who's going to be actively looking for a lane advantage that Neo is. So working with Biofrost is going to be interesting.
He's going to be working with Biofrost. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, we check in with Immortals to see what's going on over there. Emily, I see you already chomping at the bit.
Well, I liked some of the things that Immortals did. They were the first team in the LCS to actually take a look at the Jhin, and the Jhin Yuumi setup, which obviously is not one of the more power leading 2v2s we've been talking about, but has been seen over in the LCK, is incredibly strong, and I really love the range that Jhin brings, so I was glad to see that from them. I think pieces of their composition didn't work out, and then I also think there are some obvious moments that they're going to want back from that game, but they are who I'm picking in the matchup.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we're kind of focusing a little bit on the bot lane, where in the previous one for Neo and Biofrost, I want to see them get running there. But for last game, especially Wild Turtle and Destiny, like that's that moment, right, where they die 2v2 bot. And I do, so like that one, I'm sure they believe they can play better, and I think they're going to have to. Another point too is also I just want to see, talking about comps a little bit, in that draft, usually I'd want to play towards the Yuumi. You're not going to get a lot of plays, but you do want to defend her a little bit. And it was Xerxes playing towards top lane in the Camille matchup, or the Gwen matchup, that is. So I just want to see, it's a little bit of them kind of experimenting with a meta, since they're, as you mentioned, like the only team kind of working with Jhin Yuumi in the LCS. So I want to see what the bounce back's going to look like for this team.
Chat?
Immortals is going to win.
Noticeably quiet.
Oh my God!
Immortals is going to win.
What
more do you need to know?
There it is.
That's all I needed to know, right? You guys did a whole lot of talking.
Yeah.
And Jat told me the only thing I needed to know.
God damn it.
Thank God we got Jat back.
Beaten by Jat again.
Anyway, we got Jat back. We also got a couple of other casters now slotting in to close out the day. It's time to toss it over to Pastry Time and Mark Z to get this game underway.
Thank you very much, Dash, and the rest of the gang at the AD. I'm Pastry, that's Mark, and I'm excited to lock in and Eddie as we kick off our first few games of the Lock-In Tournament.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be back casting. I had a lot of fun last year, and we got some good games to set us up for our first two together.
Yeah, not a bad one. No, Dignitas up against IMT. Both teams taking the L to kick off today. Obviously, fortunes are going to change for one of those teams here. And like we heard from the desk, definitely a lot of things to look forward to here. Bottom lane's definitely eyes going to be drawn towards those. I think in general, that's a fair call given this metagame, but also there's a lot of very good 2v2s in the LCS right now.
Yeah, bot lane is really interesting to develop. We were talking about it after the CLG game. Cubby, the Academy caster, was popping off about Poom and Luger are going to be third best in the bot lane, and that feels like something that's pretty contentious. We're still waiting for Berserker to come over, all these different things. Neo, as well as Wild Turtle in this game, are going to be trying to make their run at that one. And like you said, with the meta, very bot lane oriented. The only other thing to really is top lane. Mid lane is a wasteland. You heard Jojo Pune say it. Victor Corky. It's a nightmare for mid laners to stand out right now. So those are the two lanes I think people are going to get the most attention.
All right, and of course it doesn't help when all the fun mid laners get banned every game. So far it is LeBlanc taken off the board by IMT, Orianna on the dig side, and then Hecarim definitely asserts his special alongside Renekton there.
It's like, we don't know what to ban. Let's just get rid of his Hecarim. He played that a lot last year. The Renekton ban as well is one of the safest top laners in the current meta. In LPL, it is borderline pick ban, 100% presence nearly. A little bit lower here in North America, but still something that if you are trying to make things happen, which Revenge wants to do, then getting rid of Renekton opens up some more options.
Yeah, I think that is one of the fun things about IMT, or this matchup especially. I actually think Fakeout played quite well in his last game, given the matchup being quite tough. But Revenge is definitely a centerpiece of this team, and if the meta is right, or he just wants to go for it, he always wants to find an advantage in the 1v1, which you think maybe something like the TP change could dictate a little bit more. So we'll see what happens there in that 1v1 matchup. But Xin banned away, seen a lot of that champ today, and Thresh also very popular, going to be taken off the board as well.
Yeah, even though Inspired just lost on Xin, you kind of saw the power. Like, he was low-key carrying that whole game for Team Liquid, so no surprise to see that one taken off the board as well if you're worried about the enemy jungler. A lot of people find that Xin Zhao is probably the highest priority jungler on the current meta, and pairs well with so many of the enchanters that we're seeing down the bot lane, but that does mean TF getting through.
Yeah, TF has seen a lot of bans today, so it looks like it will be getting through here for Power of Evil. In fact, already been locked in. Makes sense. This is a champion that lots of people were drawn to when that TP change was shipped. Like, well, you know what? Need to find another way to teleport.
You know who doesn't give a damn about that TP change?
Fade.
Yep. And especially in the current meta being a lot more control mage oriented, that's not super punishing matchups, which is where TF can sometimes get into trouble. And so you can usually get to 6 pretty safely and then start moving around the map to impact these pushing lanes that we're seeing have a higher presence in the top and bot lane.
All right, well, also another champ that doesn't get through too often was banned away against Neo just earlier today, but that is Caitlyn there for him in the 2v2.
We'll have to see. The one time we saw Caitlyn get through yesterday, it was FBI and Hugi with the Lux they paired it with, and they stomped that game. It was quite a showing, so giving this one over is a little surprising. Given that they're getting the TF as well, they kind of have their pick. Dignitas on red side, letting both those power picks get through. They take that trade. And now it's about, can the TF maybe punish the Caitlyn, who's most likely going to have priority, assuming you pair it up with one of those auto-pushing supports.
Well, there is some support as well for the Kate. Wild Turtle going to revisit Jin by the looks of things here. So his second goal in the champion. The only other appearance of this champion, so clearly Wild Turtle leading the bandwagon on that particular pick.
Yep, seeing it globally a little bit. The AD carry meta, you know, there's a couple clear favorites in terms of Caitlyn and Jinx and stuff. And from down there, we're seeing Ezreal in some other regions, the Jhin as well. In general, utility marksmen have had a good matchup into Caitlyn. You're still probably going to lose the shove, but things like Ashe, Jhin, and Varus are often what people kind of turn to withstand because they have pretty strong laning phases.
All right, well, Viego once again for Xerxes, and we'll see what Dig
surprise.
snap up here for their last pick of this phase.
Yeah, it's looking like it could be a fun matchup already. I mean, the Caitlyn is a little boring sometimes, but with the Lee Sin locked in for Dignitas mid lane and the fact that they knew they were leaving up TF, I would assume that they're going to try to punish the TF pretty aggressively to keep them locked in lane phase. Lee Sin's one of the best junglers for being able to do that. And so now with the Lux confirmed, note this bot lane focus for Dignitas. Jungler going to be hovering most likely around the bot side of the map. Kind of plays what we know about Fake God as well, being more of a weak side player.
Yep.
It's already the draft is coming together quite nicely for Dignitas, and Immortals probably going to throw some bans at mid lane to get rid of the more dangerous matchups in the TF lane.
Yeah, I have to think so, because Blue's job really is to make sure PoE doesn't get to ulti all that often. Karma going to be banned away there, so Jeff, some insulation there in the 2v2, wanting to have absolute priority there, and of course, IMT as expected. Great takeaway there as the Sylas gets banned.
One of the most common matchups we saw into Twisted Fate last year, Sylas being able to grab that ultimate from him and follow around the map, being a champion that scales extremely well, who can also have some tough matchups. TF is one that you get to pick Sylas into freely, pretty much farm the lane through 6, then follow him around through the early game, then become a monster in side lanes and stuff like that. So no surprise that one's getting rid of. We'll see if they take out another assassin here, whereas Dignitas targeting supports, you know, don't want something to contest the push in the Karma and don't want something with a lot of engage to pair with the TF, but there's still a couple others up.
Yeah, Destiny definitely, I mean, it's funny, like it's hard to pin him down because he plays like the 3-hook champions and then the enchanters, which is actually quite a wide pool for supports, given that typically they only sometimes play one or the other. Victor, though, gonna get banned away, doesn't want to get pushed in there for PoE, wants as much control of the wave as possible because, of course, again, he wants to get out of lane as frequently as he can once he hits 6.
So we'll have to see what Blue chooses to go with here. I assume they're saving last pick for Fake God in the top lane. What we've seen out of Blue in the LEC was a bit of a preference towards lane-dominant champions. His 2 most played, I believe, were Syndra and Lucian by a pretty significant amount. This time, going with the Zoe has a pretty strong early laning phase and can maybe contain the TF. And then, plus, when he's porting, if you're kind of in the area, you get some pretty free paddle stars.
Yeah, fall asleep perhaps after you get in. We'll see what happens there, but I like it. It's something a bit different here. Also, Lux, Caitlyn, Zoe seems pretty annoying when in any sort of seat.
I got some range on that comp. Definitely the case. The Lee Sin is probably like the odd man out a little bit right now, but if your job is just control these kind of winning lanes already, that is something that Lee Sin can do quite a bit with his map mobility.
Yep, just control the lanes early and then kick people away from your carries in the late game. Once you're ahead, can be pretty straightforward. Looks like Jace and Leona, though, going to round things out for IMT.
Pretty good idea here. They want to get a power point somewhere on the map, given that we already talked about the 2 other lanes probably going to get pushed in here. Jace should have priority. Something that's being seen in the LPL quite a bit. And then the Leona, we're talking about all the playmakers available to support. Yeah, they banned out the Nautilus, but you still have Leona up, and no surprise that's what they end up going for.
Ooh, and then Malphite last pick there. So Fake God back on the tank.
Is anyone surprised, really? And if you're a Fake God fan, you kind of saw this coming, didn't you?
I'm here for it. I mean, again, looking for impact there. Dig now have a go button to go with all their poke. They've got plenty of CC to follow up with.
Frontline for when you're kind of positioning around objectives. Safe, given that it's double physical top lane. You can stack that armor pretty well. You know, you don't need to worry about Viego bringing in AP damage, which is exactly what Malphite wants. He's going to be pushed in. He's going to be down 10, 20 CS.
Yep.
But that's kind of the Fake God special, honestly. He was actually one of the lowest CSD numbers in the league at 15 last split in summer regular season. But his actual goal difference wasn't that low because he'd then go around and make plays on the map. So this is very much a play style thing, not like a just skill statistic that you have to take into account.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, we know Revenge wants to get an aggressive matchup, try and, out 1v1 you, especially with teleport being chained for that first 14 minutes. And you can't get anywhere other than back to your own house. So Fake God knew what he was up against. Definitely not surprised against Jace. Like to see the Malphite counter pick lined up, but we'll see how it all shakes out as IMT are off to the races. All top lane here at level 1.
Cheesers. We saw it in the first game of the lock-in tournament, what you can do with this. TSM Academy busted this one out against 100 Thieves. They don't have, obviously we'll see if PoE takes gold card to start out the chain gank, and exactly how many people want to take their abilities, but no. Fake God knew not to mess with it. He stayed far back. He's near his Krugs. He's not even sniffing this one out.
He's chilling, Remembers the days of having a lane swap and double jungle. All the pressure early, gets out of there.
Ah, God. Does he know that time?
Actually, maybe not.
He might be too much of a zoomer for that.
He might be too. Is that the bar now for how your age in League of
Legends? If you didn't play lane swaps where you were top lane and just got like 2 CS in 10 minutes, then you're a zoomer.
All right, well, guess this is Zuma confirmed as Revenge back to the top side early, wants to try and meet Fake God, perhaps through the tri-bush here, but Fake God is playing with the expected amount of respect. Looks like junglers are going to start on the opposite side, so XU there over on the Raptors, and it is going to be Xerxes with some help. No, everyone's leaving.
Yeah, it looks like they want to contest the wave early on right away. It makes sense against Caitlyn that maybe if it goes well and they're leashing, you can get that push. Of course, Viego doesn't need a ton of help in the jungle, and this allows him to get a bit of a hidden start because Jace is going to show pretty quickly as well. Just trying to give Xerxes a little bit more room to work, and you don't want to get insta-shoved in by the Caitlyn.
All right, well, we'll see how this works out, but Revenge already off to a good start here. Does have that Conqueror. Fake God eating the early damage there from the Q, but again, this is all expected. Revenge doing a very nice job at getting the damage done early, but Fake God, he's happy to chill. Honestly, you don't really have any other choice.
Yeah, no, this is good. Revenge kind of snuck in through the river to get that initial trade-off and then zoned Fake God off the experience of the 3 melees, I believe. And so while Revenge didn't take any of that CS, he probably has a pretty big lead heading into level 2 here, and it's just going to get worse for Fake God. We talked about this being a tough matchup. In the laning phase, you kind of just take it and scale.
Yep, maybe call your jungler if things get really bad, but you know what to expect here. Hope that Neo and Biofrost can get things done in the aggressive 2v2, and Xerxes does get himself spotted. Nice early ward there from Blue. Is going to get the info on the Raptors.
Yeah, really well done, given that we talked about how Immortals was working to hide Xerxes' pathing. Blue, with his little bit of early lane pressure, able to get in there, spot him out, and now let Fake God know, hey, buddy, they're coming top.
Yep, level 2 now, so Fake God's going to feel a bit more insurance, but that's a very big wave, so we'll see how it's timed there with potential pathing out of Xerxes. Revenge does ding over to 3. But Blue getting that push in means that PoE likely can't join for a very early roam, so Fake God should be just okay. As a nice root in bottom side is going to have a cavalcade of damage onto Destiny.
Yeah, and now they get the push. This is the problem that you get into. Not only does Kate Lux naturally have a very strong push, but if you ever make a mistake, the chain roots that come through, the range from which they can chunk you out, suddenly you can no longer contest this wave because they also have that shielding from the Lux, and it's so hard to trade against them.
Hey, look, jungler's here. So
hey, what do we know?
Up to Fake God. Fake God has the shield though, got the flash ready, in goes the dive, and that looks so easy. It is first blood out for Revenge.
Clean by Xerxes there. They walk him underneath the turret, kind of pin him up against the wall, and it's a point-blank stun that they then combo through. Fake God held his flash.
All right, well, XU now trying to return in kind. Been pretty active today. Has the Dignitas jungler, but this is a dive they're going to try and make work. Defensive TP is available for Revenge, but he's busy in the 1v1. Here comes the dive.
a little tough.
XU lining it up, Root doesn't land, and the minion wave is gone, so that Q's going to land, but I don't think they can follow through, so Dig are going to have to give it up.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea here. You're kind of just fishing. If the binding lands, maybe you can 100 to 0 someone. It's a little sketch at the health bars that Immortals had, so put a little bit of pressure down, grab that turret plate, you know, then recall, begin your topside clear now for XU. And like you said, coming in, not playing Academy at all, starting in LCS before then, been talked about a lot. His first game, pretty aggressive. I liked when he went out and tried to punish Santorin for blowing his flash in the kind of classic Bjergsen Santorin gank from 2015. Had a flashback about that one. And, you know, good to see that the young player is not afraid to find these opportunities to make plays.
Yep, especially given that Xerxes is a jungler that I think we often credit for being very intelligent, right? Has very good pathing, obviously has a lot of synergy now built up with Revenge, and Revenge is a player they do often want to play to, given how he likes to play the game. So I like the attempt to punish for XU, but IMT able to fend it off nice and easily.
Yeah, I think the Xerxes point is a big part of with the Immortals kind of game plan of how they built their roster this offseason. Revenge is probably the biggest, most aggressive power point on the map for them to want to play around. You know, Power of Evil, we talked about already, all the control mages he tends to go for. Revenge last year actually led the league in solo kills for top laners, and so he can be that aggressive playmaker.
Is it going to be spicy? I don't think it is. Biofrost with a nice early roam, actually. Does let XU complete that Raptor steal. I believe he got the entire camp. He at least got the big one. As Fake God and Revenge are once again doing battle. And Fake God is understandably losing. Revenge took the solo! Almost added to the stats in 2022, Mark.
So close, just didn't quite have the damage left. Ends up blowing his flash for it, so it is a bit of a mistake because Fake God didn't even need to use his yet again here. 6 is coming up, might open up a window for XU now to find this opportunity. This was probably the one, you know, problem that Revenge had last split. He wants to be the carry, he wants the resources, and he can find those solo kills, but sometimes he gets these little misplays, and this is one of the biggest areas I think he can level up in 2022 is kind of ironing out that consistency with his playmaking.
Yeah, definitely. When it looks good, it's really good. And then sometimes it's that, which is a good attempt, but you potentially can get punished, especially by other teams, or as teams start to learn your patterns and habits. So Fake God's back in. He is, as expected, 25 or so CS down. But you know what? That opens up the dragon there for Dig.
Yep, Dig is going, great job, Fake God. You survived, held your flash. We're going to grab a dragon. And then we'll see what happens from there. You know, Power of Evil also dinging 6 means that he can follow up on plays around the map now. So far, Blue has done a decent job having priority in the mid lane and kind of keeping him locked down, but we'll have to see what kind of windows PoE can find now because he hasn't been the most prolific roamer in the LCS, even on some champions that do have some global pressure. So we'll have to see if he can do it. Here we go. These two looking for some action.
Level 6, though, and the flash here from Malphite. Surely Fake God can weasel his way out of any situation. Oh, TF, though, also potentially there. Blue's actually lost sight of the Twisted Fate. There is a controller in the left side, and now the pings are there. Fake God gonna have to try and find his way out of this, and the wave's pushing the wrong way, Mark.
Yep, he's going to be exposed in a little bit here. And like you said, really good topside control by Immortals, getting their pink ward in there. They have 3 pink wards on the map already, so they're doing a really good job having vision, being able to be safe while setting up their own plays.
Xerxes spotted, but Fake God maybe didn't catch it in time. The stun gonna miss. Fake God, very nice bit of spacing there. Just dodges everything. Revenge goes back in. Bit grumpy. But now XU gonna try and make him pay as Blue's also up here on the top side of the map.
Fake God 6.
Blue with the heal. Up we go. There's the Destiny in, but Fake God goes through Revenge. Looking low. Fake God low. He does die in the trade, but Xerxes is gonna get one back there. But now going to go to sleep. Blue's going to try and finish it off alongside the Lee Sin. And that is just barely enough as Power of Evil can't finish off the final kill.
Nicely done there by Dignitas, punishing the overstep of Immortals. That priority that comes with the Zoe pick, able to get up the river, and they pinged it out. PoE, I could tell, communicated the Zoe is coming, and Revenge just greeted for that hammer form Q. That led to that chase down sequence, and now on the board for Dignitas, 2-2.
And also in the bottom side, we haven't kept as much track of it as we are going to watch this one again. Fake God, I mean, at this point, just baiting the enemies in.
Yeah, I think he knew that his team could collapse here, and so while he's kind of getting them to come in, he has flash, he has his ult, there's no way he's ever going to die in this position. And then this hammer form right here is the, okay, let's kill him, because you can see the pings from Power Power of Evil were actually coming in before that point, and now it's so easy with that flash that we talked about being down to follow up. You know, PoE can follow with the ultimate, so it's not like he's slow to the play, but because they've already used so many resources on the side of Immortals, it's pretty easy to scrap it out from here. And Malphite's probably not the best champion to take over for a Viego. You know, you would much rather be taking over a Jace, and it was too easy to get the last kill there.
Yeah, when you get everything but the ulti, it doesn't feel quite as good.
Malphite's one of those champs where you're like, I kind of need my R button to do anything.
Good counter. Fake showing us the layers of this draft. As Dig do successfully trade there. It's still up gold for IMT. They're up almost 1,000 here, which is good. TF Passive playing into that perhaps a little, but hey, they'll take it at this point. And like I said before, bot lane, definitely not the shellacking we might have expected in the 2v2. Total definitely down, but not out there, about 15 CS behind at this point.
Yeah, Icon's in the way right now to see the turret plating. We'll see how bad it is, because that's really what the Caitlyn Lux lane is about, is obliterating your turret. You know, they're going to grab their second one here, pre-10 minutes. Decent pace. I mean, when Lux's and Caitlyn's pop off, that thing's dropping at around 10, 11 minutes. So Immortals definitely behind. You see the CS lead, you see the turret plates dropping down, but, you know, not too bad when you look at what Caitlyn lanes can look like.
All right, well, at least a trade here again. Rift Herald there out for Xerxes. It is XU with a kick back on Destiny. Ulti out of Caitlyn, not enough damage. Q's gonna miss, but the laser's not. Bifrost with the snipe takes out Destiny.
Caster Curse coming in right when I was saying Immortals bot lane was doing an okay job. Destiny wanting to get some vision control while the rest of his team was taking down the Rift Herald. Just a bit of a mistimed roam there and a good punish by Dignitas, catching Destiny out and also getting some more alone time with the turret.
And plates aren't all gonna drop off, but 3 taken off already. Still plenty of minutes left to try and take it out. Have the Rift Herald. Actually, that is on Immortal side, excuse me. So that's a way that IMT can get some gold back, but the gold lead's now flipped in favor of Dig. They're up about 400 now, and you have to think with any more pressure, they're going to be able to take that turret on their own. Gale Force finish for Neo as well.
I mean, that's huge, because the thing about Jace is he wants extended alone laning phases. Caitlyn is more than happy to just mow your turret down, go topside, and then that's going to start forcing the Jace into these annoying, you know, kind of cross-mapping moves where you have to spend time running between lanes, and that's all Malphite wants to do, and that's the exact opposite of Jace. So the sooner that Dig can crush this bot lane turret, the better. We'll have to see if they can get a little bit more attention down there. They did not get the Rift Herald, which is really what can unlock some Caitlyn comp sometimes, but they still have enough priority mid that maybe they can find some opportunities.
Blue buffs here for both mids as well, as Xerxes trying to line up a play here in mid lane. Does have that Herald, so at least wants to get some plate gold donated over to PoE. But Dig staying active here. Dragon up in 25 seconds. We haven't had a Hextech Dragon yet. Or a Hextech Rift for that matter, Mark.
Woo!
As it's 7 games through the LCS so far.
I'm
I know we've both
disappointed,
been
dude.
very disappointed, yes.
I like Hex Gates. I like Lightning Bolts slowing people for the soul, you know? I'm sick of these dragons and this smog. I live in LA. I get enough of that, dude. You don't need to put it on my Rift.
All right, well, much like you cast the Coast Immortals before, we are now guaranteed to have Chem Fog, so thanks for that.
Whoops.
Drake there being set up here for Dignitas. Looks like they are going to be able to walk in and take this objective nice and cleanly.
Yeah, not much of a surprise. This is one of the other benefits of lane-dominant comps. You see it sometimes with Kalista. Caitlyn, much the same way. You kind of get free dragon priority whenever you want it. Immortals also kind of showing up on the top side. Xerxes, that's his pressure point, and so both teams kind of cross-mapping, playing around them. Looks like they're going to be grabbing the bot lane turret at the same time, so a little bit ahead of the play. It will be evenly traded out with Shelly adding her support. And we're going to get some lane swaps in a minute here.
Yeah, the bonus gold does go to IMT, which is good news for the Rift Herald team that's trading cross-map in top lane. And actually continues, might get 2 here. That'll be a very nice bit of gold if they can grab it. But Fake Gold's going to try and defend his home for as long as he possibly can, and does successfully do so.
Yeah, don't want to linger around too long and get caught behind tempo on the lane swap. Here we go, XU.
Speaking of, kick, all right, in there, blue, straight into the bubble. It's beautiful. Oh, that's very nice, though, for PoE. Wrong card, though, does flash out of the way, and still the chase is on Destiny there. Not enough there as Zoe finds the kill.
Power of Evil did what he could to survive there. Barely an inch away from getting sniped by that Paddle Star. Finds time to get his stopwatch off, but just not quite enough. Just too far into the middle of the lane because of the nice kick by XU there. And Blue having a good game so far. I gotta say, he was already getting... I don't think there's any player in the LCS under a spotlight quite like Blue is. Just with how his signing came around. His year last year in the LEC was a bit disappointing, and so a lot of North American fans are just looking for him to be a bit of a punching bag if he has bad games. And so I was already seeing it in the Reddit threads for game 1. Nice to see him bouncing back here in game 2.
Yeah, nice little team up there. As XU's had 2 good kicks, actually, that secured kills for his team. Start to see some of the annoyance that this comp can have. We talked about, you know, Lux and Zoe being pretty frustrating, and Lee Sin is tying that together as Mark.
We got it!
We did it!
The Hextech Rift!
It's happened! We are the Hextech Rift Prophets. Open the gates! We're ready!
We'll see if we get to get any action from the Hextech gates. As you can see,
If someone dies to a Zoe bubble that only happened because she flew through a Hextech gate,
we have a tool here to draw on screen. I've never used it before. I'm a little scared to touch it. Otherwise, I'd circle things on the minimap. But you can see them down there, the lines. They connect through the jungle, through the river. And watching LCK, I saw a couple times where people in side lanes were caught out of position through especially the river ones coming from behind the Dragon and Baron Pit walls. But outside of that, it's a lot more about tempo and resets. I think that it impacts pro play the most, not quite as much playmaking. So I expect to see how people can, like, you know, extended fights where people die and can come back. Like, you can get suddenly back bot lane way faster if you're taking gates the whole way.
and the other thing, of course, is that the Soul, which is certainly something Dignitas can look towards, given they got the first 2 drakes pretty swiftly. Soul's pretty sweet on that one. I mean, all the Souls are pretty good, as it turns out, but Hextech Soul's the coolest. Is that a fair thing to say? Maybe not the most powerful,
But I think especially for a comp like what Dignitas has,
Oh my God.
giving slows, when you proc that with the Zoe Q, like, just if you can follow up from there and keep slowing over and over again, like the range advantage that they have with their comp already does benefit quite a bit, as well as the fact that the attack speed that it gives and the cooldown of the actual stacks. Hold on here.
like this here for Destiny's found the angle there, and Neo's just trapped completely. Everfrost now from PoE, looking for the wraparound there as TP coming through for Fake God, hasn't popped the ulti yet. Blue looking for the bubbles, finds the front line. Destiny though buffers in with a flash E to try and get the follow-up stun, and it's only 1 kill somehow.
Bit of a split fight there as Immortals, after the initial pickoff, broke up and down the river. But that's exactly what you want to do for this Caitlyn when she starts getting on the map and trying to make these pushes happen. You can use this TF to get side lane plays, get behind her, and punish her for walking forward there. And that's why TF is so often banned. He's one of the few champions that pre-14 can do that. Yes, I know it's past 15 minutes in the game. This could have happened anyways, but just the extra ability to do that is very highly prized in the current meta. And nice job by Immortals there to put a little bit of a throw a wrench in the game plan of the Caitlyn team.
Yeah, anytime you can stop Caitlyn's momentum, as you mentioned, always a good thing. It is Immortals back with a gold lead as well. But again, not a particularly big one. It has been very back and forth, very close. As INT are trying to siege down this mid here. We do have our first Hextech Dragon of the LCS.
The first Dragon
Up in a
2
minute.
confirmed?
Yeah. I don't think we might have had it once.
I think we might have had Dragons. Uh-oh.
All right, no gates in yet. Xerxes asleep. Firefrost looking for the root, doesn't find it. But
Yeah.
IMT certainly trying to contest for this objective.
I was going to say, Immortals putting up a lot more of a fight now for this Dragon. You don't want these stacking up. Like I said, I personally just like ability haste and attack speed on the Dragon stack. So Immortals trying to contest that one. And also getting some good mid priority, able to get some damage down this turret.
Fight though brewing, XU looking for the Q, doesn't find it. Fake God though, level 2 ulti at the ready. It's his time to shine, the Mythic's completed. Unleashed from his 1v1 in the top lane.
I'm ready to play. I'm level 11. A Malphite. We're at a team fight. This is when I get to have fun.
It's perfect. Fake God, look for the angle. IMT though, good vision here as Blue's gonna try and find something. Speed Shrine owned by Dig, so a little bit of extra there for them as Blue, oh, so annoying in the fog as always, finds a bubble. That's a very key target. Blue in onto Revenge, they go, and they're just going for an ace to the hole over the top. XQ doesn't quite get the execute, but instead he flashes forward with the E and finds it. Q threads onto Xerxes, and that's enough for Dig.
Nicely done by Dignitas there. Blue in particular finding a bubble onto a key target there. Revenge is blown up, and it's a free Dragon on the back end of it. That's one of the great things about Dignitas' comp, how much zone control they have around these objectives. The bubbles flying through walls, the Caitlyn traps on the ground, the Lux E's that you have to walk through. They're such an annoying team comp around these objectives, and while they don't quite have the gold lead, they've largely succeeded on their game plan as BOE.
Yeah, looks all bit dicey. Still long lane to run away from, but not chasing.
Yeah, Fake got no ult, so pretty safe here. But yeah, this is exactly where Dignitas pretty much wants to be at this point in their game plan. They're pretty even in gold, objectives are in a great spot, and here we're gonna see again, Blue just
Blind?
It was pretty blind. I mean, he knew that people were in that area,
Right.
but still found him there. And then the follow-up was huge. Whew. Revenge was able to dodge out on some of the range that this team has. The fact that he got out of the Lux laser, but So much chase down potential and just ability to throw in damage from 2,000 plus units.
Yeah, really nice kick actually from XQ. Like, wanted to get as much execute damage as he could. Knew that he was getting far enough away that, like, I have to do this before Caitlyn ult comes in. Obviously, the opposite is more ideal, as Pee-wee is going to take the bottom tower and Diggy going to take the Rift Herald. But flashes in, make sure to secure the kill, and more importantly, secures this dragon for them. 4 minutes away now until that soul can be theirs.
Yeah, looking really good. Have the Rift Herald here to drop mid, start getting mid pressure. It's going to help a lot. In between objective phases, you expect to see Immortals grab the gold lead back, as you kind of saw them do here before the turret drops. They have the advantage in the side lanes with the Jace and the TF, a little bit more global mobility as well, whereas Dignitas is really about front-to-back team fighting and zone control. So this is kind of the window that Immortals is going to want to abuse side lanes to hopefully make some plays, get some major gold lead back in your favor, so when you show up at this next critical soul fight, you're in a good position and can actually contest and don't have to try and walk through a Malphite.
All right, well, Dig gonna defend their mid outer as much as they can. Very nice use of the Rift Herald there to make sure they got a beautiful ulti there, but oh, Fake God! He's tricked him! The bait worked! He's now asleep, and Fake God gets in for the slap! Takes him out as Power of Evil will fall!
Call an ambulance, but not for me!
And now Revenge jumping back in, but he's got nowhere to go. A nice little kill there for Toto, but asleep at the wheel once again is Jin as Fake God finds a double in the team fight. XU dashing back as Xerxes dashes out, and Dignitas make it 2 for 1.
And the Caitlyn wasn't even there for it. That was just all blue, jumping forward. The Leona, it's a very common thing to do. You drop your ultimate because you know exactly where the Zoe is going to pop back to, but then the communication with Fake God hovering over the wall, you know, as soon as they go in, they just turn on to PoE. It was really well done there.
And again, this is kind of, you can see all the little layers of the comp coming together. You said it, they've got plenty of engage from very far away. It turns out that works defensively as well as Fake God's Malphite tying the room together beautifully. Just what I expected. As Fake God 2-2 and 2 now on the hunt for the elusive triple-double.
Yeah, it's a long way away. Triple doubles are
very rare in League of Legends.
Yeah, very rare. Alrighty, so what are we seeing for items? Biofrost has the Crown of the Shattered Queen. You see that obnoxious bubble around? It's so big. It looks like an orange or like a grapefruit. It's a little oversized in my opinion.
Think of like a better item that support Lux would want, honestly.
You just don't want to die.
You want to die, it gives you a bit of damage, but it still like helps you be a support.
Yep.
You don't have to buy something like Arden.
Yep, you have the Zoe with the Shadow Flame as well. Just a big chunk of damage, giving you flat penetration, especially if people have been shielded recently. And I feel like there's a fair amount of shields just generally around in the game at this point.
Yep.
So most of the time you might not be getting that part of the effect, but just a big chunk of damage for 1 to 100 to 0. People probably the best AP item in the game for helping with that.
Yep. Nice there from Blue as Dig are making sure they do their admin around the Baron area. Xerxes is going to claim the crab on that side of the map. Still, you know, time between the dragons, but this is a nice wraparound. Xerxes 2-4 forward! Fake God flash ulti finds 2! Blue with the bubble's going to make one drowsy, and that's an easy kill onto Revenge.
God, I mean, Immortals, they want to find these flank opportunities. They're trying to find kills, but just not able to do it. Dignitas having pretty good vision control where they're at. And then, again, the range of how, if you're caught out of position, Zoe bubbles coming from away, the Caitlyn ultimate able to find people. So really well executed game plan here by Dignitas.
And you know, it's not a particularly fair comparison, but I'll make it anyway. Revenge in lane, 1-0. Revenge out of lane, 0-4.
And AJ's, baby.
I mean, it's just, you know, he did what he wanted to do. He got aggressive in the lane. He was able to find a kill early on, get a lot of pressure, get a CS lead, still 35 CS ahead. And it just, like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, we can go back to that example where when a little aggressive, when Blue was on the roam, and kind of as the power point in the early game for your team, that's a bit of a big mistake there. And Dignitas is happy, you know, being able to play and punish around topside if it allows their ball lanes to just push AFK the entire time.
At it again, TP actually forced out there.
Yeah, just trying to come early to contest the wave and help work your way in for vision.
Fake God's ulti's back up again. Nice ulti there from Destiny. Actually finds 2. That's very nice. Bobble's gonna miss their stun onto Blue. Ulti out of Jin. Fake God just slaps it under Revenge. He's tanking bullets. He's got to try and run interference.
Both teams use a lot of tools there, but don't actually come away with massive health leads.
And there's ulti out of Pee-wee trying to re-engage, gets the vision they need, but XU, he's just going nuts there on the Xerxes, but the backline is in trouble. Destiny has dove through. He's taking down the front line. XU with a great kick, but he can't quite kill Wild Turtle, but so much damage got done. Like, this Lee Sin is just fully fighting all of IMT, and there's nothing they can do about it.
so many low health bars.
Destiny's just dead. XU gets the kill. He's going to get traded back. Blue bubbles the wrong way. Xerxes going back through, but Bifrost letting it rip there. There's the stasis to keep Blue alive for longer. But there's the snipe out of revenge to take down the Zoe.
3 for 2 right now. Immortals have a bit of an inside track on the Dragon, but they're still low.
And all the junglers are dead. Bifrost's out of mana. Neo's out of health. Bifrost's running out of health.
Oh, no!
Just gets in there. Hammer time for one. Jin on the other, and they get the Dragon as well. It's an ace for IMT.
What a back and forth team fight. Immortals find a way to win it, though. Oh my god. And then Biofrost kind of baiting Neo. They were hanging around, didn't want to give up the Dragon. Really should have let that one go. Now, with the ace, Goldie going in their favor. They've grabbed the Dragon now. That was an insane fight.
Yeah, I mean, the first part was like, oh, whatever. Like, we'll watch this, and it's like, oh, I guess nothing's happening.
Yeah, well, I thought once all these major ultimates are down, this is actually great for Xerxes to try and take over the game, but then he just takes so much chip damage right at the beginning. It's a little hard to try and get these kills, these resets that you might be looking forward to grab, like, that soul from the Malphite. He's just not in range for it. And so then I think, okay, well, this is great for the team with the range advantage. You're going to be able to really just obliterate this team. But because Destiny hugs the wall here, it baits them close. That allows a trade back. Xerxes finally able to go over the wall, grab that stuff. He's kind of trapped in the pit, ends up going in there. One extra death, but then these nice snipe by Revenge. As we were talking about the NA, Jace cleans up that kill, and then again gets the follow-up here. When PoE gets rooted, Neo's kind of trying to play follow-up, and Revenge sees the angle to go for the flash hammer form Q, double damage onto both of them, and just deletes the bot lane of Dignitas.
Unintentionally, Bifrost flash and kill both of them.
Yeah.
Might have been able to just get away with one, but Amanda was trying to get away, and unfortunately, Revenge was already in the mix. Almost 3k damage on the team fight there for the Jace. A lot of damage in general as those teams traded back and forth, and that soul getting delayed now means the attention turns back to Baron and Dignitas. That one easy win condition is delayed even further.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. They are still not quite in the driver's seat, I'd say, but I'm not quite sure there's a definitive scaling advantage in terms of damage or anything. Like, obviously Dignitas has a top laner who can stack armor against 3 physical threats and a mid laner who's not a huge DPS threat in AP with a TF. So there is that small advantage. Revenge sure caught out.
XU does get hammered back, but Fake God, long ulti. No flash, no hope. There's the shutdown for Fake God.
Immortals trying to make the most of it on the top side, though. PoE will finish that turret off, which was super low from the Shelly charge back earlier in the game.
And you know, Mark, you mentioned that, you know, which teams in the driver's seat kind of swapped hands a little bit. I think it's fairly safe to say that these are not like brand new vehicles the teams are driving at this point in the game, right? But, you know, we've got some service issues. Redro's a bit late, perhaps. You know, wheels feeling a bit faulty, but they're getting through.
Yeah, it's early in the season. These are the kinds of things that they will get better at as time goes on, but a very back and forth game. I'm having a lot of fun with this one, and I just love the differences in the comps. You know, one having much more focus on split push with Revenge and PoE. Revenge getting Punisher a little bit in the long lane. XU doing a good job, I'd say, this game of finding these kind of opportunities. It can be a little difficult if they have this TF ultimate to show where you are in the map, but he's still finding his moments.
He's really, like, he's got the killer instinct, which I feel like I'm noticing in a lot of these younger players that are stepping in. Like, they're just fearless. Like, even in that last fight, he flash Q'd and forced Turtle's flash and would have gotten a kill if Turtle wasn't as quick as he was with the summoner spells. So he's definitely looking for every single angle, regardless of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Turtle, he's actually having a pretty good game.
Yeah.
The tough laning phase early on with some attention given. Hold on here.
Oh, goodness. Just the kitchen sink thrown at Destiny. XU with a kick to be the exclamation point to the eventual death as XU grabs the kill for himself.
Yeah, we see some pings here from Immortals, how they want to play out with their support dropping. PoE is going to focus on split push. Dignitas, do they want to try and force Baron? No, they're going to go collect their waves in the side lane and actually focus on the Dragon coming up in a minute and a half.
As you can see, this is the ride we've been on here at today's theme park at the LCS. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, those aren't huge drops. Like that.
No, yeah.
That's like a kiddie coaster.
We're building up to it. We're starting to get further and further ahead.
Yeah, I like the sheer vertical, like so 90 degrees that it goes past it and you kind of go inverted for a little bit, you know. Those are my rides.
We're not there yet, but you know what? It's only one Baron fight away. There's still hope as XU once again steals the enemy Raptors, and the teams are going to ready up for the next objective. Baron's still on the table. It's been a threat that either team could look to play for, but of course, attention is on this. Soul, 40 seconds until Dignitas can have another crack.
Yeah, Xerxes trying to find flank opportunities. It's really important with this team comp to not let them play front to back. We talk about the front line for Fake God, but also Caitlyn, Lux, and Zoe just love pelting away. And so Xerxes is focusing on finding flanks in the jungle here.
Well, I like this combined with the ulti out of Power of Evil. He's found a flank, but it's Fake God, the target they've got. Bifrost not going to run away here as Exu's, again, getting aggressive, maybe forcing Turtle away. PoE with the defensive gate away is going to reset the fight as Bifrost eats a bit of poke. Blue going to get rooted up, but XU with the interference on the safeguard does shield him up, and Fake God just threatening here, waiting for a carry to get into his sights.
Yeah, I really like that by Fake God. He understands his role. I'm here to block damage. When Xerxes was off on the side, they actually had a ward over the wall to know that he was there, and he just made sure that the stun that Xerxes was charging couldn't land on a Biofrost. Look how much damage he's taking just by being Malphite and being able to build armor.
And actually he's going to go for here. It's just going to be a smite. Find the steal happens. Revenge is able to get the dragon. XU dies. That is a tragedy there for Dignitas now, as Fake God also going to be lined up for the next one.
No.
Just stunned into oblivion as Turtle now on a rampage picks that one up as well.
Immortals coming up huge there, able to find the kills, get the dragon as well. Looking like they're going to turn on the Baron here and force a contest by Dignitas. 25 seconds basically on XU. No way for them to realistically steal this. They're going to need to contest it straight up. They have the range tools to do it. They can land some poke maybe with Blue. It's tough though, no vision.
Yeah, Blue does have a smite, so they're going to try and go for it here. He's level 16. Zerx's only 13, so it's actually a pretty good smite, but they just don't have enough. And now Blue's going in! He does steal it! Perfectly lined up there for Dignitas to take away that Baron.
Blue is doing everything he can to keep this game alive for Dignitas. He's been landing bubbles, and now when that's not the play, he finds the Baron steal.
No free Barons when Zoe's in the area. Blue with a perfectly timed steal. As I watch this play here in the Rockout Flip the Switch replay.
Yeah, as you called out, having the smite available, the Zoe being able to steal summoner spells and just waiting for his moment. You know, the nice thing about Lux is she can give vision. So here the E is going to say, hey, it's at 1,000 health. This is when you go. PoE tries to body block the Paddle Star because he wants to combo the two together. He played it right, but I mean, it's just the smite steal, the higher level that he is at level 16 compared to the 14 by Xerxes. Unfair advantage being the mid laner there, and Blue keeps his team alive in this game.
Yeah, unsealed spellbook, real clutch in that spot. That was not one off
it was
the
not
ground.
picked up. It was unsealed.
Just swaps over, had it ready to go. Just Zoe always does this every single game.
Yeah.
So I always have to think about it as that completely flips it around here as IMT are trying to trade to get a tower on the bottom side, but it is a rampaging Baron up, Dignitas charging through the top side at this point.
Yeah, a little surprised to see this trade going on, that Dignitas is letting Immortals get so much gold back while they do this. The Jace being stopped here by Malphite. They have the Caitlyn keeping push. Immortals now are the ones recalling to deal with it, but PoE's still getting work done in the mid lane.
Yeah, I like this from IMC, just buying time. Usually one of the best things you can do against the Baron is just make the buff irrelevant by wasting your opponent's time while they have it, and there's no further pushing now for Dignitas. They are going to look to perhaps reset here, or maybe just wrap around back to mid and get some of the softer turrets to try and take. Are still behind in gold, all things considered, so even with the Red Bull Baron buff ticking up and giving them that gold, they still need to take more if they're trying to equalize the game at this point.
Yeah, they're trying to collapse on the revenge, but they get met in the middle of the river here.
Everfrost does not connect. Xerxes stuns XU, and now Fake God's found one, and it's Power of Evil this time that's caught out.
The split push collapsed on. Nicely done by Dignitas there. Not recalling their 3 players from the top lane, but actually rotating from mid to bot, and then allowing Fake God to play the long lane chase down. Now they're going to have a window of opportunity to, like you said, grab these turrets. I understand what they're going for here. They just want more gold in their pocket for the inevitable 3rd attempt at the Hex Soul that they're going for. They might be able to grab the mid lane turret, which would be huge if they can do it. Still 30 seconds on Baron buff. About the timeout though.
This looks very deadly. Bifrost's going to be forced to flash away. Neo also in trouble. Xerxes finds a stun. Good cleanse flash there for Neo, getting out of dodge. And now Destiny getting traded back, with Turtle again finds the W. But it's the tankier Lee Sin that does connect on.
Yeah, and Blue is being able to play zoning a little bit there, making sure that there is coverage to retreat under. You know, everyone ever watches some war tactics, you always want to have covering fire on the way out. So Blue providing that from the jungle. But that does give Immortals mid control right now, and they'll be able to get some vision down in the dragon, spawning in 1 minute.
And I will say, in a lot of these exchanges, like for all the poke between Lux and Zoe, and even a bit from Caitlyn as well, Revenge is consistently chunking Biofrost in a lot of these exchanges, and Biofrost is not backing down from the poke, from the mage. He's in.
I mean, yeah, we talk about Dignitas having the range advantage technically, but it's not like Jace and Jhin can't combo together to make a squishy champion's life hell, and you can kind of poke off that safeguard passive. It's a 40-second cooldown once you take damage, I believe it is. So it does kind of last for like a team fight or an objective standoff. If it gets poked off, it's gone. So it is something that Biofrost needs to be aware of, making sure that he's not just losing it very quickly on some incidental damage early on in these fights.
All right, well, 23 seconds now until the soul is back up and available, and all my eyes are just glued to Fake God.
All two of them?
Ready, all two of my eyes. Right there on the Malphite.
Unless you have more that I don't know about.
No, only two.
Okay.
Hard to miss Malphite, very big.
Yeah.
So he's trying to flank. Xy's going to sniff that out, though.
Both junglers looking for the flanks, the playmakers for their team in a lot of ways. But the advantage that Dignitas has is just slapping Fake God down the middle of the river and walking forward and pushing them further back from this dragon.
Kiwi actually forced to gate behind now. He's actually kind of flanking, which is nice. Oh, Xerxes with a gate! Looking for the flank play, and that's Fake God dead! Didn't even get to ulti! And now Dignitas trying to fight PoE. The Everfrost root finds it. Neo gets the kill, but it's carnage there as the dragon goes over. IMT still deny the soul, but they're going to get more kills out. Dignitas as Neo is able to grab the double.
Using the Hex Gate there, people are moving all over the map. Ends up with two people way out of position. PoE had ulted closer to Xerxes, but then Xerxes ends up taking the Hex Gate, trying to get behind Fake God. They both die. Immortals is able to grab the dragon off the back end of that, but the extra kill going in their favor, finishing off Destiny as well, allows Dignitas to move into the mid lane, grab this inhibitor.
Oh, Biofrost. Not dead yet, but it's awfully close. Blue flinging bubbles through the terrain here, but they can't finish off this Inhib. Actually, I've spoken too soon. Neo is very powerful right now with 3.5 items on the Caitlyn.
Yeah, I'm looking for TP wards. There's not many for Immortals here, so it should be a relatively safe retreat by Dignitas. I guess you count that as a dub. You know, gold lead back in your favor. You did get the mid inhibitor. Now you're going to be able to control that when Baron spawns in 30 seconds. But watch this. PoE kind of caught out of position here. Realizes his ult's wearing out, so he tries to meet up with Xerxes. But then Xerxes takes this portal down, you see. He takes the Hex Gate Rift, to get behind Fake God, who's able to get blown up now. But that leaves PoE alone on an island, so XU realizes, hey, I'm going to flash kick him towards the rest of my team. This leads one death right at the start of the fight. Destiny flash forward to try and save PoE, doing anything he can. That kind of leaves him as another target. The one benefit for Immortals is while you're focusing down these members, they're able to grab their third Hex Tech Dragon. They're close on soul point now as well.
And then another fight is happening. Blue with a massive chunk on Revenge. Fake God flying through, but he can't quite connect. Couple flashes burnt there. IMT limping away, but still everyone alive.
Man, this is one of those scary games. Like at any moment, someone could pop.
Yeah, from like 4 screens away.
Yeah.
No one is safe.
I mean, even Fake God died quickly there at that point.
Yeah.
So he has a ton of armor, but at some point, damage comes up even stronger. You know, Lord Dominus obviously finished by Turtle here. He can start punching through him.
Yeah, they've got 3.5 damage deals on IMT and 3 Hextech Drakes. Like, they got a lot of DPS. As that's a very big stun. Total there, trunking them through, but Fake God will tank the rest of that. Bubble's massive there. Fake God, no flash. Does go in, but he's not going to connect for it. Doesn't want to dive in when he can't see through the rest of the fog. And now Blue again, looking for the bubbles. Maybe cuts off Xerxes here, but Dignitas just moving through IMT territory. Actually, wait, what is going on here? Everyone's flipped around. My brain, back in Australia where I was, the gravity flipped around, everything's upside down, but here we go, back on play as Dignitas do find the first kill into Destiny. It's Power of Evil, lined up for the second as Fake God almost takes him down, but Xerxes is able to get Biofrost there, finds the first reset, Fake God into stasis. Xerxes now chasing onto XU there as they are going to flip him back around. Guardian Angel pop, Wild Turtle is not going to get Fake God, who dodges down, and now the kill's going to happen. Neo on a rampage, takes out the enemy jungler, and as the dust settles, Biofrost dies, but 4 die on the IMT side.
Dignitas thinking they can end.
Gale Force, Sleepy, cleanses off, Blue runs away, great dodge there on the W, and now they're just going to try and leave Turtle there. Turtle's cutting the wave.
Yeah, Turtle's cutting the wave, but they still have a super creep in front of him, so this is a 4-man push down mid lane, largely undefended. The only person there is Destiny. He's not going to be joined by anyone for another 20 seconds. Turtle has to get back.
Yeah, but Turtle can't get back. It's only Destiny. He ulted Neo. Neo cleansed it off, and that's game. Dignitas, they didn't even get the soul mark, and still they'll take the game to pick up their first win of Lucky, and apparently Hextech Soul's banned. No one gets it.
You don't need it. You got the Nexus. Dignitas bouncing back after their loss to start the day. They're 1-1 now, taking down Immortals, who are 0-2 on the day, and they do it without River, one of their biggest signings of the offseason, still waiting for him.
Yeah, I mean, XQ had amazing moments all throughout that game, honestly, but the whole team pulling it together. Neo looking good on the Caitlyn, Blue having a much better game on Zoe, just a team effort there, and kind of some comedy to not see the soul being picked up, but maybe it's not good. Maybe you don't need it.
Yeah, maybe it's a trap. I don't know. I gotta say, a lot of, like you said, hats off to Blue. Had a much better game this time around. The early roam up to the top side, I think, was one of the most critical points in the game. And then just consistently landing bubbles and paddle stars over the course of it. Fake God picking for the team like he always does was huge, just being able to be that front line. And, you know, Neo and Bio, a bot lane that people have a lot of question marks about how Neo will fare without Aframu, who has done such a great job around new supports. Biofrost and him looked pretty good this game.
Yeah, obviously, still some things to tune up, like it is going to be for every team here in Locking, but a very fun game there. And with that first win for Dignitas QNTMPAY under their belt, we are heading over to the State Farm Analyst to see how they got it done.
Damn right, pacing time. Thank you very much. It's Dignitas QNTMPAY that takes the victory and moves to 1-1. Gonna feel good about that one. Another very back and forth game, though, where it feels like both teams definitely had opportunities to win. But Emily, let's start by setting the table with what happened in Champions League. Now, I do know that Jad's got some thoughts as well, maybe to follow up.
Yeah, so we got the TF through. We got
Nice.
the Caitlyn Lux through.
We got our second Kate Lux.
Yeah, so I know that people who are just watching LCS are going to be like, I don't know about Jhin. I actually still really like Jhin.
Jhin's a popular pick.
I think it's still a really strong pick. I mean, obviously we saw in this game the power of Kate Lux, why you definitely don't want to let that through. I thought Blue looked really comfortable on Zoe. And then this is an incredibly free Malphite pick into a blind Jace.
That's where I'm going to hand things over to Jad.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying, like, I hope when Malphite was picked on 5 there, that Immortals was like, oops.
Right.
Rather than
forgot
like,
that
oh,
champion
let's bait him in
existed.
Malphite, because they already have an immobile AD. Their only AP is TF, who is also generally weak to Malphite, and then they're also going to have a Jace. Like, it is the best Malphite game you can set up. Sure, maybe TF could be another AD champion, but it's as close as you're going to get.
Which is only a little bit of a bummer, too, because we talked a lot about Revenge as being one of the players that Immortals wants to invest in, and he did seem to play the laning phase decently, but you get to the team fights, and the power and the impact that Malphite can have, as we do watch a little bit of a Revenge highlight.
So these team fights, exactly. The highlights, like the flash Q that impacted both champions, beautiful. So you actually showcased a lot of skill in these fights, which actually lended to Immortals getting back into the game, and then got back out of the game. So as soon as they were in. A lot of steals throughout this game as a whole, and it was pretty messy. But going back to the point that Emily was talking about, where it was like, I mean, focus on Blue, right? You know, XU and Blue had, I would imagine, have very limited time working together, but they did a great job when they were moving towards top lane and shutting down the Jace when they had a failed gank. And then when they went straight through mid, Power Viva was feeling the Lee Sin kick multiple times. I thought they actually coordinated quite well this game.
Yeah, I want to shout XU out because obviously this is his second game on the LCS. Jumping up from amateur. Lee Sin is an incredibly comfortable pick. I believe it was Rafa cast from a lot of the Proving Ground stuff where he's like, oh, you guys Lee Sin, like it's over. Dignitas win. So it's great to see him come out on champion he's super comfortable on and perform really well.
And it's crazy how much this game would change based off the small stuff, right? Because like they dove the Malphite, right? They were coming with a repeat gank. The 2v2, I guess 3v3 because the Twisted Fate poured it in and Zoe was there as well. And yeah, I mean, like, Viego got locked out of ranking his ultimate because he was in Malphite form, right? So, like, when he was possessing, you can't rank your abilities because you're taking the form of a different champion. So, like, he smited a minion.
Level up.
He got it.
And he's like, I'm dead.
Well, that's the kind of thing those are the kinds of like interactions that really only happen a couple times throughout maybe your entire career playing League of Legends. So you maybe don't know that that's the case until it happens.
I do want to still look a little bit more big picture at draft, though, and even the tournament, because I think if this was a must-win game for Immortals, things would have looked completely different.
Yeah.
Twisted Fate is the champion I want to specifically target on.
Okay.
And it's a question of how is Immortals going to look as a team in the long run. Because in the last 2 years for Power of Evil, anytime you're in a playoff series, his team is banning Twisted Fate. And there's a couple of times where he will try and pick it, and he hasn't found success with it. So, for instance, even during last year, the entirety of the run with TSM, they banned it 19 times. He played it twice, lost both, right? So TF and against TF is a weakness for Power of Evil, and it's like almost like this annual thing. Let's try and fix that weakness while we can. Like, this is actually a perfect time to try and get a TF rep, make it so you're not having to ban it every game during the regular season. It was unfortunately a failed experiment this time. It just reinforces the narrative, but I do like that they're trying it in a low consequence game.
If Power of Evil is on the team, the TF should be in the jungle, not in the.
Oh my God! Good call out.
That's
Well,
a
I mean, why? So
9-year-old
what,
reference.
it is
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Very
an
few people
incredibly
got
old
that.
reference.
What do you attribute that to? I mean, is it just simply, everybody's got that champion they can't play against, and that's the TF happens to be Power of Evil.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have an answer.
Okay.
Yeah, and PoE will have his own opinion on this, and I do respect his opinion, but this is just my take. I think so much of Power of Evil's success is about maximizing gold, and he's always had a very low forward percentage. So that's the percentage of time you spend beyond the halfway point in the lane. When you are against TF, that's what TF wants. Because if he's able to push the wave and move into fog, no one else can play.
Yeah.
But then the flip of that is, since he doesn't play much forward, he's also not good at getting forward and moving on TF. So it is counter to his playstyle, where he generally is very, very good at laning well, not dying, and getting gold for team fights.
And I think it'd be really beneficial. You already kind of talked about it at the beginning. Is like if they can kind of conquer this, then it really helps this team. Like if you have, they set up the play top lane to get the what's it called, the dive onto Malphite.
Yeah.
And it's like the idea of being able to use the strength that Revenge wants to go for, which is like just pure laning, domination, be able to find dive consistently, play towards the side lane, right? Something that he's kind of actively tried to go for in the previous year on his Aurelia pick or whatever kind of side laner that he tends to prefer. Yes, this works for this team. This is an identity this team can play around, right? That's far away from just team fighting.
Yeah.
So I think that being able to hit this, I think now in lock-in works.
Well, plenty of thoughts from us on where the struggles have been at least derived from initially here with Immortals, but it was Dignitas QNTMPAY that came out on top, and in large part due to that bot lane. So we're going to dive on over into the Verizon post-game interview with Tigris and Biofrost.
Welcoming back a familiar face to the LCS. I am joined for the Verizon post-game interview alongside Dignitas support Biofrost. Before we get into this new chapter for yourself, for the fans out there, can you summarize where you've been and how you made the decision to come back to professional play?
I took a 1-year break. I didn't do too much, but I did some soul searching. I had a much needed break, actually. I had been playing professionally for quite a few years. And after the break, I feel a lot more refreshed. So I'm glad to be back.
I still caught you streaming, participating in a lot of those events along the way as well. As far as the game that we had today, I gotta know. Blue made his debut today, had a great performance here in the second game. What was the team's reaction to that steal and the overall chaos that was that latter part of that game?
So let me start off the story with saying that we had a pre-game exercise and Blue actually hurt his finger. So I think he needs to go to the hospital. So he still buried with one hand, literally. So that was awesome. Props to him. We were like, oh, this is insane. He's still buried with one hand. So great for him. I mean, we're really happy for him.
Blue, I mean, he's no stranger to facing adversity and challenges in professional play, and it sounds like that's a theme right here at the start, making quite an impression. I also want to talk about another teammate of yours, your laning mate and Neo. Despite the difficulties that Dignitas face, there was a lot of conversation around his strengths and the potential of his career. How are you all developing as that bot lane duo and potential strengths for this team?
Neo is always super funny. I think he's really good. He makes some weird comments sometimes, just some weird noises in general, but he's a really funny guy. Always thinks about the game. Had a good performance today, so it's been good. He's funny.
I've heard he's funny. Maybe I can get you to get some of that on video sometime and send it our way. I know this is just the start of the season. Last time you were on the LCS stage, though, you racked up 4 championships. It's a whole new look, a whole new team for you now, though. What are your expectations for your personal career and this overall team?
I'm very positive about our team. I feel like we have a lot of good things going. Everyone's super positive. We're thinking of how to improve. The typical, but I think what's different about our team is that we got a lot of young blood here. I'm the oldest. So it's nice to kind of be in a mix of rookies and veterans. So you get some fresh thinking.
That nice mix to bring you through the entirety of this group. You do still have a couple teams that you'll be facing off against in CLG and EG eventually. They're actually facing off for the next game that we have on the docket. So what are your thoughts on the competition that they pose?
I think EG is probably looking the best right now. Obviously, it's really early on. And for the lock-in tournament, there's also spring split. So definitely looking forward to playing them. I think anytime we're going into the game with like an underdog mentality, we can bring a lot and try our best. Our first game against TL, we did not go in with the best foot forward. So we tried to play a little bit more aggressively. I think over time, we'll get better and better. Yeah, I'm excited.
We're all excited too, Biofrost. It's so great to have you back. Welcome once again to the LCS.
Thank you so much.
As we just mentioned, we do have another game to go here in the LCS lock-in today. CLG and EG taking on one another to see who will come out with the 2-0. Stay tuned on the other side of this break.
They give us love. They give us joy. They give us lessons in sharing. So give them some love back. And what says love better than something you can chew on? Use your MasterCard to make secure purchases from anywhere. So your gift will end up in the right hands or mouth. Because being there for each other is priceless.